What's going on, guys? Today we're gonna be pulling the engine out of the sled. It's blown up, so we're gonna pull it out, tear it all apart, make sure the crank's good, and rebuild it, and should be good as new. Well, about a couple hours later, they got everything disconnected, airbox, carbs off on both of the engine mounts, exhaust off, disconnected all the oil pump lines, coolant line on the bottom, unplugged the stator, all those electrical connections, coolant hoses, torque stop. I think we got it all. We'll see if she'll come out now. Well, there she is. Got her out. I have a bunch of cleaning to do underneath here, but this one engine mount's toast, so I have to replace that. Yeah, took a little bit of time, but got her out. I just have to tear it apart and see what's all broken inside of here. Got the engine up on the workbench. Gonna start tearing into it. Bought a clutch puller and flywheel puller. So we'll get the primary off, get the oil pump off, take off the cover, disassemble the water pump, flywheel, stator, take the whole cover apart, take the Y pipe off. Then we'll start getting into the actual engine and see how much damage we have. Hopefully it's just a top end and cylinder, but we're gonna split the cases and see how the crank looks, and hopefully it's not too bad. Well, I got the engine torn apart here. Head looks pretty good. The side that leaned out, there's a little bit of pitting, but not much. Looks pretty good. Got the one cylinder on the good side, looks really good. With the bad side, it's got some big scoring in it, so for sure need a new cylinder. Water pump belt looks pretty good, but I'll probably get a new one put on anyways. Haven't gotten the flywheel off yet. The puller I have doesn't quite work properly, so I have to go to buddy's place and help get that off. But unfortunate news, the crank is toast. So you can tell this is the side that leaned out. Pitted pretty good. There's a bunch of metal in here. I went to check the crankcase bearing and it is gone. So I have to do a crank too. Just have to pull apart the cases and see if the cases are good. If the cases are shot, it's probably better just to go buy a short block. But yeah, that's the update. Just got back from my buddy's place. We were able to get the flywheel off. So now we just have to pull off this cover, and then we start splitting the cases and see how the cases are. Just split the cases, got the crank out. There's quite a bit of metal in here, but I'm gonna clean it up and see if the cases are okay. It's looking kind of promising so far, but clean it up and see how it looks. Well, cleaned up the cases a little bit and it's not looking promising. Some pretty good scoring in here. All that metal dropped down and spun around in the crank. Here's the top. It's not as bad, but there's still some scoring in the crankcase, but this bottom here is pretty chewed up. Not ideal. All those pieces of metal dropped down on there and caused some damage. Here's the bearing that's shot on the crankshaft. Completely gone. You can see how hot this rod got. See all the color on it. Yeah, not good. This side looks okay, but doesn't really matter. The other side's shot. Completely toast. So the total damage report: knocked out a piston, knocked out a cylinder, knocked out the crank, and knocked out the crankcase. Head's still pretty good. I was taking off the clutch. I noticed there's a crack. I don't know if you can see it right there. So the back sheave looks okay, but that front sheave will have to get replaced. So, have a little bit of parts to order, that's for sure, but at least you have all summer to get her back up and running and hopefully ready for next winter. Well, I'm gonna take a little break from working on the engine on my 700 and put the newly done hood onto my dad's 700. So I went for a ride this winter and the sled tipped on its side and it had a crack all the way up here. I'll put a couple pictures in to show you what it looked like. I brought the hood to my buddy who's a German auto body man, and he's able to fix up that crack, repaint the hood. We got some new decals and put them on. It's looking just like brand new again. So we'll get this nose cone and hood put back on the sled, and then yeah, see how she looks. Well, got the nose cone on, the hood on, hooked up the cable, rerouted the electrical connection and the speedo cable, fasten that back on. Got the hood on, wiped it down. It's looking really good. Just gotta put the windshield and the windshield bag on and it should be good to go. Just got the windshield and windshield bag on. She's all put back together now. Hood turned out real nice. That's where the crack was and all fixed up. It's got a hint of metallic flake, you can see. Flashlight on the phone. Looks really nice.